What's up, Glasgow? What's up, Glasgow Celtic? The only football club around here we're talking about. Glasgow is green and white. I fucking love it. I fucking love it. This is my first time here. First time here. I go way back here. I'm a McGregor. I'm sure the Scotches know about the McGregors. We go way back. So it's an honour for me to come over here in front of you and speak before you. And I look forward to having a good night. Thanks so much, everyone.
Conor McGregor. Conor, what a reception for your first time here in Glasgow, huh? What a reception from these people, first time in Glasgow. This place sold out in 20 minutes. Can you get over the fact that people they're not just coming to watch you fight?
Sing it to me. Fucking sing it to me. Fucking sing it. The Irish and the Scots. I love it. I love it. I love these people, I swear to God.
And this is why you're so popular. Conor, pleasure to have you here and to talk to you again. Other than sailing literally around Ibiza, what have you been doing in the aftermath after the Mayweather fight?
Look, I've been just chilling now, trying to figure things out, what's next. I know there's a lightweight title coming up this week, so I'll figure out what's happening after that, and then figure it out. I'm just trying to figure out what to do. I mean, it's like I've almost more money than sense right now. So I'm kind of trying to figure out what to do with it. I'm not going to sit here and pretend I know what I'm up to or I have it all planned out, but I'm just trying to live my life, have fun, come before my fans, meet my fans. This is a special night for me to come over here, honestly. Like I said, I'm very proud of my heritage and where I come from. You can go way back, and I said this in many promos before. I was swinging a pickaxe on a horse up on the Scottish Highlands, defending this land. That's where I come from. That's my bloodline. So it's an honor for me to come here. And that's it. I'm just trying to enjoy my life right now, trying to level things out. I have to take, it's a tough one to take that last loss, you know.
Yeah. Let's talk about that fight. I'm sure everyone wants to hear more from you about that fight. Obviously, you did your post-fight interviews, but you've had a bit of a vacation and you've taken some time since, like you said, to figure things out. How do you feel about your account of yourself that night? You made it to into the 10th round. A lot of people didn't expect you'd do that. Now you've had time to reflect. How do you reflect on the account of your performance that night?
What's sickening me is that the little motherfucker is retired now. That's what's sickening me. I know if I went another go with him under boxing rules, I'd get that win. I know that. I know after feeling him the first fight, he had to change his whole approach. He fought completely different than he'd fought. He couldn't figure out what I was doing early on. And that's it. I feel with the lessons I learned from that first fight, if I had another go around, I'd get it. But at the same time, he's 50-0. I'm not going to start, and he's getting on. I'm not going to start calling him out. I'm happy to see a fight. Like it's a dangerous business we're in. So to see him come in and do his thing, I'm not going to start trying to collar him out. Now I'll sit back at a distance. I'll continue to fight. Let's see how he manages this round of money. But maybe I might get the phone call again, and we may do it again. Originally he said an MMA bout next. He was talking about an MMA fight next. That's what he said before the fight. So, what's that about? Does he want to do that? Or in my head, I'm thinking, get one of these motherfucking boxing guys over. And I stepped in their world. Yeah. I put on a show for my fans and their crowd. And they're talking about balls and confidence and all this. Yeah. Let one of them try come over into my world now.
What about Paul Malignaggi then? Do you think you'll get him in the octagon? John Kavanagh came up saying, let's get Paul in the octagon.
He's a fucking rat of a thing. I swear to God. Caroline, I had no problem with that man. He came in, he done what he was asked to do. He knew what it was. He knew it was a fight. He knew it wasn't a spar. We were coming in. We were going to fight. And that's it. He went and started doing interview after interview and then expected respect and good treatment. And what do you expect if you go running your mouth? So...
He even went on Twitter this week saying that he'd force you to quit. I don't know if you saw that sort of Twitter exchange. And then...
If he wants... Look, fuck, I'm not... I've got the UFC title to defend, and that means something to me. I will defend that UFC world title. I'm not going to go out about this little weasel of a thing. But if that little fool is stuck for some money, maybe we can get him over and do an MMA belt. That would be fun.
Who'd like to see that? Conor, going back to the Mayweather fight, the stoppage, in your opinion, now you've watched it back, was it early? Would you prefer to have been completely knocked out?
Adelaide Bird's husband, Robert Bird. That's all I'll say on that.
Right.
That's her husband. When we came face to face and we went and we done the rules thing, when Floyd was here, I was here, and the ref was here, he was only staring at me. And I'm looking at him staring at me, and I'm like, I could see in the peripheral of my vision that he was just looking at me and he wasn't looking at Floyd. I was almost going to say, he's fighting as well, mate. Give him the fucking, give him a rules meeting. You know what I mean? What's going on there? Every time we tied up, he literally wrestled me off him. So, I don't know. Fuck, it is what it is. I knew I was not going to get a fair shake out there. I thought it was an early stoppage. How the fuck can you stop a fight when there was no knockdowns or nothing previous?
Yeah.
The round before, I almost had him dropped. I hurt him to the body. I hurt him to the body the round before.
Yeah.
So how the fuck can you, like round 10, then stop it like that when there's a first sign of a wobble? Nah, man, you've got to let these fights go on, so...
And you're used to UFC where they will literally let you go to the ground until you're out before they stop it. So it must have been frustrating. Straight after the fight, you went to Dana White.
I got beat. I got beat under that rule set. Do you know what I mean? I'm not going to start giving it all that. I accepted the rules, and I was beat under the rules. But let's make no mistake. Every time I took his back in that fucking fight, and the referee separated us, in a real fight, it's done right there. Yeah. So... That for me was the part that I had to get over the most, was that I almost feel like I sold myself out you know what I mean? I put so many skills and so many shots in my back pocket for a paycheck and a big event. And that's been messing with my head a little bit. So I'm just kind of trying to take myself back, focus on the bigger picture, see what's going on, see what happens with this lightweight belt. Yeah. See if we can maybe entice one of these boxers to show their balls and get into a real fight, and then we'll figure it out. So that's where I'm at right now.
And you talked about that sort of fatigue patch that you get at that point in the fight, and you trained through it. You said it happened in the Diaz 2 fight as well. What do you now take away from that and do differently to try and avoid that scenario happening again?
30 minutes that fight went on for, Caroline. That's the longest I've ever fought for. 25 minutes is an MMA fight, the maximum you can go. And I went out with Diaz. That was also the longest. And then this one, just under 30 minutes. That's a long time to be fighting. That whole camp was built around getting to 12 rounds of fitness. Yeah. To get to the 12 rounds of cardio, it's not an easy thing to do to get to that level. You know what I mean? So I had to climb and climb and climb. Now, my coach will say what I was doing beforehand. Maybe I wasn't as dedicated as I could have been out of camp. But it's hard in the position, you know what I mean? I've already done it all. I'm already a two-weight world champion. I'm sitting on such a pile of everything, you know? It's a hard one to stay fully focused, so. Yeah. But I went in there and I gave it absolutely everything. My team gave it absolutely everything. That's it. I hold no regrets, you know? If I'd done it again, what I would do differently is I'd have pressure fighters coming at me. Okay. In the camp, we had fighters in the Philly shell, similar to the style that he always fights, or fighters against the ropes, but never fighters. Well, we did have fighters coming forward, like with that style, the way he eventually went, but that was only in the early rounds. Early rounds, I'm eating guys alive there. It's when I get tired, that's when I need to bring in that fresh body who's going to sit on my chest and let shots fly. And if I'd done that alone would have made that the easiest fight in my life. Because make no mistake, Carl, up until like round 5, that was the easiest fight in my life. I could see everything he was throwing. I was cracking him easily. It was only when I started fading and he started leaning on me and started coming forward in that Mexican style that I started to fade. And that's it, so. That's what I would do differently. I'd have people come pressure me when I'm tired instead of early, so.
Well, you're always pushing the boundaries with the training and the techniques that you're using. You're at the UFC High Performance Center. You know, we saw you sort of running underwater on treadmills, doing all this crazy stuff. Is there anything from this training camp that you can take into your UFC training camps now, sort of new skills that you learn?
I built an incredible engine. Make no mistake about that. Although 30 minutes is, I went 25 minutes, I got into the best shape of my life. So I'm just going to keep going with it, And then also know that, like, in this camp, it was like round 1 to 8 was the fight. And then 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 was my friends, more people I'm comfortable with, just to get to the 12th round. Because I had to get to the 12th round in sparring comfortably and safely. And if I done it too early, I could have picked up an injury, lost out on the fight, lost out on the whole event, and hampered everything. So that was the goal. This time, I'd probably switch it around. I'd have round 1 to 8 heavy, real competitive, and then I just have a heavier opponent on me, putting the pressure for the last 4 rounds, and I just have to survive in there. And I honestly, truly feel if I'd have done that, I would have been laughing in that fight. But look, you live and learn. That's what we say. You don't lose. You either win or you learn.
Yeah, and that saying has taken you well through your career so far. We have some water, please.
Look. Nah, vodka and orange. Look that. I'm squeezed into this suit. I got this suit fitted about a couple of months ago, and I'm squeezing into it now.
Is this one of the McGregor Augusto?
Yeah, this is an August McGregor line. It looks like the tartan for the Scots. You know what I mean? I was thinking about that. That's why I rocked this one.
Look, you may have bought a suit. Mayweather's put an 8-foot glass picture of you in his new 19 million home in Beverly Hills. Are you going to reciprocate?
I don't know. It's some house. It's some house. What I noticed from it, fair play to him, it's some porch. It's a $26 million Beverly Hills mansion. But I'm thinking, that house purchase, the tax bill off this fight, the tax bill off the previous bill, and then his good investments, I could be getting a phone call anytime soon to go again, and I'd fucking love that.
There's not out the question. There looked like there was a lot of respect between the two of you after the fight, and even in the build-up, you were enjoying yourself. I mean, if you look back at it now, what was the most memorable or enjoyable part of the whole experience, from the deal getting done, to the crazy press tour, to the fight week itself, and the aftermath?
Cashing the check.
Can you tell us what you did clear in the end? There was reportedly 100 million.
Yeah, well, it's around that. We're still in the counting game. Some people are saying it's this, other people are saying it's that. You know, you get your show money, then you gather all the other information, the gate, the pay-per-view, the sponsorship revenue, the merchandise sales. It's my first time as a promoter of an event. So it's my first time kind of diving into all of these things. So I'm building a nice little team of auditors to go in and make sure that all these numbers that people are telling me are correct. So right now we're in the counting game.
Can you comprehend, though? Have you sort of sat there with your family, with Dee, and just said, this is a lot of money? I mean, what do we even do with this amount of money? Yeah, what do you invest in? What do you buy? Have you even splurged out on anything?
You know,
yet?
Here's the thing. I'm only starting.
Yeah.
I'm only starting. Honestly, I'm only warming up here. I was already set. I was already number 24 on the Forbes list this year. 34 million I made this year. You know, so I was okay. It wasn't like I won the lotto and I was like, yeah. I actually haven't even touched the money of it yet. Yeah. I'm more kind of. I've been more studying the contest, realizing that I could have won that fucking fight, and then just been and sitting back and just having to take it on the chin. Yeah. I got B. I feel I could have won, but hey. So as far as the money, I'm just kind of chilling with it, figuring it out, and then looking to see what's next from a competitive standpoint.
Well, let's talk about that. So I was going to sort of come to that at the end, but you brought up the fact you want to defend your lightweight belt. You've never actually defended a belt in Cage Warriors or the UFC, is that correct?
Look,
no, I don't mean like that. Just that opportunity hasn't arisen yet.
I won the featherweight and the lightweight Cage Warriors belt. Every fight is a fight. Every fight you're defending is a win and loss. Right now I'm sitting on a loss. That's where my fucking head is at. Although I was in a boxing fight and it wasn't a mixed martial arts fight, I'm sitting on a loss in my mind. So I'm just seeing what options are there. Yeah. An option. There's an interim belt on the line now. That's an option. Of course, the Nate Diaz trilogy. One of these boxer guys, maybe Malignaggi, maybe get him into an MMA bout, or Floyd, entice Floyd back. We can either do a rematch in boxing, or like he actually said originally, we'll do an MMA fight next. So they're the options that are on the table for me right now.
Let's have a look at all those options. So firstly, what do you think of Ferguson Lee? I mean, who have you got for sort of taking that interim title?
I tell you what, I'm happy they're fighting. I'm happy. This is what I wanted, because they're all bums at the end of the day. Make no mistake about that. I'm just happy they're fighting. I'm just happy they're fighting. I want to see them compete. I've seen them, too many of them pull out right on the wire, and we're still not at this fight yet, so I'm just going to hold tight and pray that this one goes ahead. I'm just interested to see what happens. Of course, the Nate one is still there. He's sitting there waiting, so he'll be left waiting, and we'll figure it out.
So you'll wait for Nate until after you fight the winner?
No. I'll wait until see what happens this weekend. Okay. There's a few options. I'm just going to put a few options out there and then see what bounces back. Yeah. And that's it. I could still fight at the end of the year.
I was going to say, is there any truth to that 30th of December?
Well, it's 3 months away. Well, it's 3 months away. So, like, I could fight at the end of the year. So we'll see. Now with Junior being born, and it's his christening next month. Thank you so much. It's his christening next month, so I'm just going to see what they come back to me with. They're waiting to hear what I say, and I'm waiting to hear what they say, and we're kind of just in a little waiting game. But really, I'm just sitting analysing the whole picture and figuring it out. So,
your coach, John Kavanagh, said he'd like to see you face Nate Diaz St. Patrick's Day in Boston. How does that sound to you?
That sounds, I mean, how many times have I heard St. Paddy's Day on a fight? It's a heavy one to happen. It sounds like a dream come true. Sounds great. We'll see, though. There's plenty of options. Thanks so much. A double, please, mate. What's that? That's a shot. Yeah. Give me a double and a shot.
Talking of which, the whiskey.
Yeah, the whiskey.
Have you drunk it all, or is it available for people to buy?
No, I have so many avenues that I'm trying to capitalise on. You know what I mean? And that whiskey one is a big one. So we're figuring it out. It's a marathon, not a sprint, with all of these ventures, and they take up so much of your time and so much energy. So it's hard to kind of, like, if I truly, like, it's like people are always offering these like acting stuff, and I'm like, if I go into something like that, then the fighting's going to take a back step. So I have to figure out where I'm at. Am I still fighting, or am I going full steam?
So you won't do Hollywood until the fighting's over?
No, I'm a fighter. It's the fight business, not the show business. No, not yet, though. Thank you, but not yet.
But you have ventured into so many different things in terms of business and entrepreneurship. I mean, the whiskey, you've now got your own promotions company, you've got McGregor Fast, you've got the Mac Life Productions, it goes on and on. Was this something you envisaged? Because you visualize most things that you then go on to achieve. Was this something you envisaged, having this empire that you're creating right now?
It's been one hell of a journey.
Yeah.
It's been a fucking insane journey. I mean, 5 years ago you're talking. Yeah. 5 years ago, I had fuck all. Like,
you were on benefits 5 years ago.
Fuck all.
Yeah.
And now I have the fucking world at my feet. So it's fucking madness. And this one was on such a big scale. Like, even the build-up to this last fight was so different to the rest of it. We were in the big stadiums, and it was like a rap battle almost, like a verbal battle between, like, in front of like 20,000 people. I was involved in fucking race wars and all over there. I'm like, hold on a minute.
Yeah.
I'm just here to have a fight and get a few quid and bounce. So there was a lot of heavy stuff involved in it. Yeah. I love the fighting. It's kind of grown into something a little bit crazy now, but I'm just relishing it all. I'm very happy that I'm in the position I'm in compared to the position I was in. I'm very proud of myself, proud of everyone around me, and that the work that we've done to get me here, because it's not been a solo effort. There is no such thing as a self-made individual. Someone tells you that, they're lying, and they're not giving somebody credit. So I'm very proud of my whole team and everyone that's come up with me. And onwards we go. We'll see what's next. I just look forward to getting back in there and pulling these weapons back out of my pocket, pulling these shots back out of my pocket, kicking again. I look forward to kicking. Right. I look forward to grappling. There was so many new eyeballs on that fight recently that don't know me for what I am, for a martial artist, for a true fighter. So now their eyes are on me to see what move is next and what way the next fight goes. So now that I have theirs, I'm looking forward to going and showing them true fighting. And that's it. So I look forward to it.
How do you top what you've done so far? I mean, becoming double world champion, making history, competing in New York City. You then go on to do what no one's done before in fighting an undefeated boxer in Floyd Mayweather, crossing over into boxing. How, do you sit and think, every time I fight now, it has to be a big deal. It can't just be a fight. You've always got to push the boundaries.
It's got to excite me.
Yeah.
It's got to excite me. And that's why I'm saying, let me see what these two fools do this weekend. And let me see how that fight goes. And let me see what the energy's like. And that's it, so we'll see. It's a hard one to go past that one.
Yeah.
It is a hard one. So, like I said, that's why I'm kind of in a bubble where I'm like, I've more money than sense now. I don't know what the fuck to be doing. I'm just trying to figure it out. Like, it's only a month ago. It was only 4 weeks ago. So I'm just trying to figure it all out. And I believe that the chips will just fall before me, and I'll scoop them up and carry on.
Well, it looks like you're holding the cards. Did someone mention Khabib as well? Is that a fight that's still... in Russia?
Again, that's another option.
But it's down
That's
the line.
definitely an option.
Yeah.
I'd love to see... Like, you asked me originally about the current two that are fighting, and I said, I'm just happy to see them fighting. Same thing with this new guy that's undefeated, Gage or something his name is. He's fighting an opponent I fought last time for the lightweight belt, Eddie Alvarez. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens there. He's an undefeated record. Yeah. Eddie could come back. I'm just looking to see what happens. Yeah. I just want to see them fight. Because they're talking about me not fighting. I'm the one pushing boundaries and going into other people's domain for a fight. They're sitting on Twitter and typing away and complaining. I'm the one in there trying to do it. So, like I said, I'm just happy to see them fight.
Yeah.
Obviously, Khabib in Russia would be a great one, be a crazy one. We'll see what happens. I need to see him make weight, though. There's no way I'm rolling over there and he's not making fucking weight. I need assurance, or I need something. So, again, I'm putting out my feelings, they're going to put out theirs, and we'll come to an agreement and figure it out.
You seem to hold a lot of cards right now. What are you thinking of this trend, though, in the UFC, where it's not necessarily #1 contenders that are getting title shots? It's the money fights, it's the entertainment fights. We've got Michael Bisping about to fight Georges St. Pierre, that'll be New York City. If you fought Diaz first, again, that's likely to be a title shot if it's 155, and that leaves Ferguson or Lee sort of sitting, waiting again.
Fuck Diaz. Diaz is there. Nathan is there. He's sitting there.
He's not going to fight anyone else.
He's starting to try to come in and make all these kind of demands. And I know that the way the negotiations go with him, that if he starts pricing himself out of the event, I probably will defend against the winner of this interim belt or someone along that line to kind of legitimize it again. And I mean, I've already gone to the highest of the high from a money standpoint. Now, or from a money fight standpoint. Now, the question that I get is always about defending belts and legitimizing the sport and the rankings. Maybe now, what would be good for me to do is go and do that.
Yeah.
And shut that side up. So we'll see what happens. Again, we'll see what happens this week. I hope they make the walk. That's all I'll say. Because I've seen it so many times where they slip on the bleeding soap getting out of bath. It happens all the time. Like, I honestly think the Khabib and Tony fight, they were on a game of chicken. Who's going to pull out first? That's what I said in the build-up to that. I actually called that after the Alvarez fight, and then Khabib couldn't make weight, and then the fight was scratched. So I'm just interested to see what happens.
That's why you've said in the past that the face means nothing. You just prepare for a fighter because you haven't trusted that they necessarily turn up. That was kind of what you said after the Aldo situation.
Yeah, it was. But now we're at a different situation, Caroline. Now I'm a promoter of these events. It's just I've gone to another phase and another, my interest in it is a lot different. So I'm just trying to figure out what way I approach opponents that may or may not step in. You know what I mean? So like I said, I'm in kind of a figuring out stage right now. I don't really know what way I'm going to play it. So I just want to see what way this fight goes on. I want to have a damn good night tonight here in Scotland. Woo! And celebrate. And that's it. That's it. Just celebrate my life. Be very grateful for everything that's happened to me. And enjoy it with my people. The Scottish are my people, no doubt.
Is your son in the building? Is your son in the building?
No. We left him at home, so I'm going to fly home to him tomorrow.
Yeah. How has fatherhood changed you? Because I remember before you fought Aldo, you said, Aldo's a father, that's a distraction. I don't have that kind of distraction. But I guess you're seeing it differently now.
Yeah, again, everything's changed, Caroline, for me. I didn't have a son the last fight. My whole fucking life has just changed from every single angle. So I'm just a young kid trying to figure it all out, trying to keep my mind positive, trying to stay focused. Money can change a lot of people, and I've seen how it changes people. And I'm just trying to keep focused and trying to focus on the next, focus on what I want to do, and go from there. And that's it.
How do you ensure, like, you grew up, humble beginnings in Crumlin and Ireland. Your son will never want for anything. He's been born into this money. How do you install the work ethic that's such a big part of you into him when he's never going to need to?
He's never... You're asked to be flying here. He's been on nothing but private jets. and I'm like, I know that's... I'm looking at him saying, Ryan here. How do I explain to him that that's not the way it was, or you know what I mean? So he can have anything now, and I don't want that. I don't want to raise a privileged child. I want to raise a kid who knows the value of hard work, and that's it. And when he grows, I'm gonna put him into sport. I believe sport is the best thing to do for a child. I've already began training him. He's already leaps and bounds ahead of schedule. He's only 5 months old. He can stand balance on his feet. I have this little method where I have him doing a squat. I lie him on my legs. I lift my legs up and put him in a squat position, and then hold his hands, and then hold him, and he raises himself up in a squat. So I'll be doing little things like that, and that's from the bell. That's from the bell from day one. It's like a blank canvas. I think I'm going to raise a special young boy who's going to go on and achieve great things, and I'm very, very excited about that. So, like I said, I'm going to put him into training, sport, fighting. I'm not going to push him into fighting. If he wants to fight, that's great. If not, that's his own decision. But he will be skilled in how to fight. Make no mistake about that. It's one of the two things I know how to do. Train how to fight and make money. So he will be skilled in both of those areas. And that's it. I hope that training in martial arts and that discipline, or will give him that discipline to go on and conquer anything he wants, and to also know the value of hard work and respect. And that's it. And I just keep my fingers crossed as well.
Can you post a video of that squat situation?
Of course I can.
I want to see that. But where does your work ethic and winning mentality come from? Was it something that your parents installed in you when you were younger, or do you think you just had it within you? I've always been just written off from day one. I've always been, you're never going to do this, I've been told that from the very, very start. I've lost count of how many times I've been told that. So, and by people that meant something to me at whatever given time. So, I got it from that. Just to go out and prove people wrong and prove who I am and what I can do. I'm motivated by people, by the support of people very close to me, and then I'm also motivated by the doubt that people outside hold for me. That motivates me on. So me and my coach were out the other night, or last week or something, and he was like, we were talking about what's next, or what may be next, and he was like, what motivates you? And I was like, I couldn't really think of it for a minute. What motivates me now when I have everything? I don't have to step in a cage or a ring anymore and fight Caroline, but I want to. And he asked me what motivates me to do it, and I was like, I kind of was stuck a little bit. And it's just to know that last fight was not a true representation of martial arts, and a full fight, and a real, and a proper one. So for me, I want to go out and show the world what a true fight is. So that's my motivation for the next one. So that's where we're at with that. It's interesting, yeah. It's interesting listening to you now and how frustrated you are at that loss, because I think, and myself included, a lot of people just thought you couldn't lose really. You weren't going to lose your world titles. You were going to earn a lot of money. So even if you didn't win that particular fight, you've still won in many ways. But this is the sign of you as a true fighter, a winner. I
know I was saying what was the best thing, cashing the check, and I have a little bit of fun with that.
Yeah.
I'm only joking about it. I don't actually give a bollocks about the money. Low key, I don't. And I know it's easy for me to say that now because I'm in the position I'm at. I don't give a bollocks about the money, Caroline. I came to win that fight. Yeah. I believed I could win that fight. My whole team believed. We put in serious, they weren't spars. They were fights. Every day I was fighting. I was fighting someone new. So we put in so much fucking work for that. And to see the way it went, and to see how easy them early rounds were, and then to see the way it ended, It's a hard one. And then to see him, he's gone now in retirement. Yeah. It's a hard one to take. But I've just got to take it and carry on and figure it out.
And you never know what's going to happen. You know, like you said, you know, money could run out. That opportunity.
But I don't wish that on him. He did say that though. He did say an MMA fight. So if he wants to, let's fucking do it. I know he's not going to. There's not a hope in hell. Yeah. Paulie, on the other hand, he's talking enough shit. I know he's stuck for some money. I know he's looking for a fight. He's talking about balls, bring your balls and do this and do that. Bring your balls and we'll fight in a real fight. If you're talking, bring your balls. Yeah. That's where we're at.
What do you think that whole experience has done for the sport of, or the organisation of UFC and the sport of mixed martial arts? I mean, a lot of eyes on you. The casual boxing fans that may not have known so much about UFC, may not have known you, now they're all looking at the UFC.
Fuck all them. I don't really give a bollocks about all them.
But it's good for the sport. Surely
yeah,
it's good for the sport.
It is what it is. Fighting's fighting. I just want to get in and have a fight. And I don't care about that whole little setup and the way they wear to. Yeah, please, yeah. A proper one now, no, a real one. The way they carried on before that fight and all was the way they were carrying on, like, I just couldn't believe what they were saying. I'm a two-weight world champion and they're giving it this like I'm a fucking rookie, like I'm a day one novice walking in. I'd strangle every one of them with ease. How quick did I take his back? Yeah. I was at his back halfway through the first round and Robert Board sumo wrestled me off him. Do you know what I'm saying? So I was like, know what you're talking about before you get the head slapped off you. So that's where I am with that. Yeah. That's why I'd like one of them to come over on their side now. But you know none of them are. Last time one of them, James Toney, came over, he got strangled by Randy Couture in less than a minute. So, I don't know, we'll see what happens.
But do you feel like you silenced a lot of the naysayers? You know, a lot of people were impressed with your performance.
I certainly proved my boxing skill to an extent. Everyone was saying to me, get in and ragdoll him and muscle him from the bell, and I could have gone in and do that, but I outskilled him. I outboxed him early. You can't deny that. I outboxed him. He didn't know what the fuck was going on. He just covered up his head and walked forward. When the fuck have you ever seen him do that? Do you know what I mean? So, that it is what it is. I still feel I can beat him under boxing rules. We'll see what happens though.
Your fans are so loyal to me, and everybody that's turned out here tonight, the Irish. And there was one young guy, Mick Constantine. Has everybody seen the ballad that this young guy, Mick Constantine, put on YouTube that went viral? Singing "There's Only One Conor McGregor." And
I thought he was going to start walking out there with a fucking guitar and start singing.
But you took
I'd say he is sick of singing that song. I flew him over to Las Vegas.
Yeah.
I loved the song. I was like, yeah. I had my people reach out to him and said, I'll fly you and a friend over. And then as the fight weekend all was getting on, I just kept seeing videos of him singing the song in this pub, singing it in that pub. And I'm saying to my friends, I'd say he is sick of singing that song.
I've watched it so many times. He's got every saying and soundbite.
It's a great song. It is an absolutely great song. It documented the whole story in song. So it was brilliant. Unbelievable. Very good job.
And everything he said was completely true. You know, everything you visualized, you made come true. I want to talk about this skill of yours of visualization. After the...
What the fuck is this ring doing here? This should have been a cage. Octagon, baby. The real shit. Let's get the real shit going now. Enough of this, referee. Separate me, please.
If anyone's got an octagon, can you just bring it in? But you've done things like, after the Dennis Siver fight, you put 2 belts over your shoulder. You went on to get those 2 belts. You said when you were young, you visualized being world champion, you visualized being wealthy before you even were. I mean, where does this come from? And I want to know, and I put questions out to fans earlier this week, and they want to know, how do you practice visualization? Do you look at yourself from outside your body? Do you practice it looking from within your body? I mean, how does this process work?
I'm going off. I wasn't hearing what you were saying. I have my button in my hand. The button of the suit. I was like that, and I breathed, and the thing burst, and I caught it in my hand. And I was thinking of that, so I didn't really hear what you were saying.
I was just asking about...
I'm a fat little bastard, and I'm not fat.
Is this the wealth belly?
Yeah, I'm not
the wealth belly.
I'm just enjoying myself. The button's in my hand.
News tomorrow, Conor's brand new suit bursts from the wealth belly.
I'll visualise the pounds coming down a little bit. I don't want to go any further. I was having a nice little bit of fun and I beat it with the wealth belly, a big fat rich belly from a lot of pasta and all. And I was having my girlfriend rub it and all, you know what I mean? Acting like a don. But now I need to get the pounds out, especially if in my head maybe December 30th could still happen. Okay. I tell you how December 30th could happen.
Okay.
December 30th could happen if I had to do fuck all but show up to the weigh-in. Okay. If they could give me that, I'd give them the December 30th, and then we'd be laughing.
So 170?
No, I could get the 155. I'm not that far.
No,
I'm not that far. I got this.
What do you walk around at?
I got this fitted when I was cutting weight. That's my excuse.
So no Max Holloway at 145 December.
He already got sunned. He got sunned a while ago.
Even Max Holloway took to the press today saying that he'd end your fairy tale. That came out in MMA Fighting earlier today, that if you fought him again, if you rematched, that would end your fairy tale.
I sunned that young boy. But I'm not mad at him. He's done a great job. He's climbed up. He's won the featherweight belt. You see some athletes, like as the public and as me, you watch a fighter go in and you watch him win or lose, and then you watch how they react and how they carry on. He lost to me. He went on he took it on the chin, kept his mind frame sharp. Same with Poirier, another guy kept his mind frame sharp, carried on. Same with Alvarez as well. Takes it well. You've got to take it on the fucking chin. You're going to win some, you're going to lose some. Get back on the bike, study the game a bit more, put in that extra bit of work or fix those errors that you think, and carry on. That's what I'm doing. That's what I've seen him doing. He went on to capture the unified belt off of Aldo, even though, look, I've beat both of them, so it's a hard one for me with that one. If he wants to come up, maybe. We'll figure it out. So that's another option, but it's a low down the totem pole option.
Yeah. How did it feel, though, having that 145-pound belt taken away from you? You know, you'd just become double world champion, and it seemed like within minutes, suddenly that belt had been given back to
Within
Aldo.
minutes. Within fucking minutes.
Yeah.
And not only within minutes, within 4 weeks of me winning, of me winning the lightweight belt, there was an interim belt scheduled for the lightweight one. So all of a sudden they stripped me the featherweight and then they put the interim on for like a couple of weeks after I only won it. How am I supposed to take that? So
did they have a conversation with you about that, or you were just told?
Not really, like vaguely, and then it just happens, and it's like, But look, business is business, and I'll never not agree with the correct business decision, whatever that is. At the end of the day, I'm the unified 145-pound champion and the unified 155-pound champion. At the end of, and that's written. I've beaten both 145-pound contenders. I beat the lightweight one. Now there's another two fighting for the interim. Let's see where it goes.
I'm going to put another suggestion out there, and obviously George St. Pierre is about to fight Michael Bisping. If he wins that, or even if he doesn't, and he wants to fight at 170, is that a fight that you'd like to go back up for? I mean, he was the guy, when you blew out your knee against Holloway, you emulated him, didn't you, in terms of your rehab and recovery?
It's another money fight term. Even though he's been retired, he's never... I think he's going to get his ass whooped by Bisping, if I'm being honest. I think it's a bad mistake for him to step in at that weight and so long out. It's another option, but again, like I said, I've done the money fight. Yeah. I've actually done the pinnacle of a money fight. I fought for a money belt. The thing was called the money belt, the WBC money belt it was called. So in my head now, I'm very interested to see this fight this weekend and see how the lightweight title picture pans out and go in and correct that whole situation. And that's where my thoughts are. I have history with Nate because it's 1-1 and that has to happen. That will happen. It has to happen. But the more this lightweight title's coming close, and the more I just kind of I spend time outside of it, I'm kind of like, I've already done all the money. Like I've done so many of these money fights. It's to go down and legitimize a title and to bring it back. I could potentially bring it back. Yeah. And that's a little bit exciting to me. So again, I'll see how this whole picture plays out and we'll go from there.
I think that's a fight a lot of people want to see. Something else a lot of people have been asking about and want to see is Croke Park. I mean, when you fought in Dublin, immediately afterwards you went to Lorenzo and said, let's talk stadiums. Yeah. Is that still a conversation? Obviously, probably not with Lorenzo now, but is that still a conversation?
You think it's not with Lorenzo. It is with Lorenzo. It's all with Lorenzo. Lorenzo was how the Floyd fight got made. It was a sticky situation for a minute, and then Lorenzo came in and mediated the whole thing, and we got it done. I'm going to put this button down because it's in my hand and it's sweating. I'll take that with me though to get a sound back on when I trim the pants down. Lorenzo's an absolute don, and I've learned so much from him. But Lorenzo's still very much involved in my career. I always liaise with Lorenzo, and I always look to get his input on things, on ventures that I'm engaging in, and then of course fights. But he was one of the main ones. There's the real one now. Good man, Gov. The point. Thanks, bud. And I'll still keep that. Don't waste a gargle.
What are you drinking?
Fucking orange. Nice and strong. Vitamin C.
Strong orange juice. So Lorenzo's still an important part.
Lorenzo was a major factor in getting the Floyd fight done. He brought all parties together. We sat in Lorenzo's office to get the original meeting done, the first one, before all the other stuff started happening. Lorenzo's still a big part. So as far as Crow Park, I don't know. We'll see what happens with Crow Park. It's a hard one. It's a hard one for a promoter to commit to. When that whole situation happened with Garth Brooks or the music thing. So, but maybe the other stadium, Aviva Stadium, I don't know. Again, the only thing that I'm kind of thinking of is, first of all, just enjoying myself and just not really not dwelling too much on it, but then also looking at what happens this weekend.
Yeah.
I'll have a broader picture of what I want to do and what I feel, whether I want to engage in that one, whether I want to go at Nate again, wait for the George and Bisping, entice a boxer into the MMA fight, go back into the boxing game. Man, I have so many options that I'm just trying to moonwalk my way out of the situation and just let it all unfold and let it just fall on my lap. That's what I want to happen. I want something to just fall on my lap and me to be like, right, lovely. I'll see you in 8 weeks' time for a fight. That's what I want. So we'll see. Will that happen?
Not a bad position to be in. After the New York City fight, UFC 205, you started saying as well, now you want a stake in the company. You know, you were raising the bar again, and you partnered with the UFC, with Dana White, for the Mayweather fight. Is that something that will happen again going forward within UFC? And does that put the other fighters in a difficult or awkward situation if you have a stake in the organization?
I believe it should. I believe that should be the next step. It should certainly still be in association with McGregor Sports and Entertainment. I feel I've earned that. I feel I've pushed so many boundaries. I feel I was a major factor in the sale to WME IMG originally. I think they can see what I bring to the table as well as a partner and associated with. So I feel that's what the offer will be. Again, we haven't really got a fight on the table that I'm jumping at. Like, I'm not ringing them saying, get me this, get me that. I'm just kind of sitting in my own little self and trying to figure it out. But I believe when talks resume, that will be the offer that will be on the table. But we'll see what offer they present, and we'll go from there. Yeah.
Now, talking of the new owners, IMG, William Morris, Endeavour, do you have a good relationship with them? Because again, previously you said you'd hardly even met them.
Yeah, at that time I had hardly met them, but I've met them in the Floyd fight. Ari Emanuel's a great guy. I've met him. He has a very family orientated. I respect that a lot. Every time I'm here, he introduced me to his son. His son trains in mixed martial arts also. So that's a good thing to see that they purchased this as fans. So that kind of warmed me straight off the bat. So yeah, I've met with them many times. They're very good people, and they're intelligent people. They're smart business people. They don't let emotions get into the mix. Yeah. Sometimes I get emotional with business, and I know emotions have no place in business. You've got to be calm, and cooler heads will always prevail. So that's the vibe I get from Ari and that team on that side. And again, look, we're going to go into the negotiation room again, and we'll figure it out.
Talking of pushing boundaries, which you just mentioned a little while ago yourself, you've had so many defining moments in your career, from walking out in Boston and they dimmed the lights to headlining in Dublin.
They cut my walkout short in that Floyd fight. You see that?
Oh, yes.
They put me right at the curtain. Dirty bastards they were, Caroline. I swear to God, and I don't know. They were dirty bastards, that whole build-up. The whole fucking build-up.
Did it work very different?
Cut the mics. And I didn't give a fuck. I don't give a... Did it look like... I went in confident, calm. I went in ready to have a fight. All that stuff is just noise. it's just amusing when you look back at the whole thing. Even after, like, I feel the referee was a weird one now the more I look back at it, especially after Adelaide Board had that with the Canelo and GGG fight. And then it's her, Adelaide and Robert are husband and wife. So I'm like, I just start kind of getting a little bit, when I start looking back at the fight, it's like, why did he not give him an instruction why was he just staring at me? It's like he had a vendetta against me straight off the bat. Early exchanges in the tie-up. Instead of just separating, he'd actually reach around and pull me away. That takes energy from me.
Yeah.
I just start getting mad, almost, not paranoid, I just start like analysing the whole thing a little bit deeper. I was like, I felt I got the short end of the straw there, and like I did not cut any corners in that build-up. None of the boxing community can say I disrespected the rule set or anything. I did not. I had opportunities to break the rules. Sometimes after the fight, I'm thinking I should have just I should have just latched onto his neck, or I should have just threw a kick or something. Here's how I knew I was up against it. Even if the referee was like, even if I lift my leg up, it's a point deduction. I'm like, how can you say it's
How do you move? Skid.
How is it a point deduction? Like, without even a warning. So they're telling me they're going to deduct points straight off the bat. And if I do get disqualified for any reason, it was a $10 million fine. I'm like, $10 million fucking dollars. It's just, they were making up all these fucking stipulations, like I wasn't taking it seriously. Like I didn't have a Hall of Fame referee in my camp present at every single spar. Do you know what I mean? I had a boxing referee in Ireland, a great boxing referee in Ireland, a professional boxing referee, and then Joe Cortez in Vegas, every single spar. So I'm like, I put in so much work and so much, I've given so much respect to the rule set and the discipline. I was kind of expecting it back. And even when Robert Board came into the changing room to give me the rules, I was looking to engage, and he wouldn't even look at me. He was like, who's your head coach in charge? And then he was like, the first thing he said, look, I'm not here to wrestle and grapple with you guys. And I was like, and I just kept my mouth quiet because the fight was 20 minutes away. Out he walks out of the thing, and I was like, I just went over to John and was like, why is he at the saying, I'm not here to wrestle and grapple? Why is he even talking like that? I'm here as a boxer tonight. I'm at to giving this rule set so much respect and so much time to study these rules and learn these rules. And straight off the bat, he's giving me that kind of energy. And then he fucking did wrestle and grapple me. Anytime he got tied up, he grabbed me by the head and threw me. He threw me halfway across the ring in that 9th round. Look in the 9th round when I hit him with the body shot. Now, Floyd will say it's low, I'll say it's to the body. In reality, it was around to the hip. Right. Floyd's an experienced veteran in there. He played up to the game and started tipping over. I went in, threw a few shots, ended up at his back again. I kept ending up at his back every time. And Adelaide Board Robert Board came behind me, hugged me like that, and threw me halfway across the ring. And I'm thrown halfway across the ring, and I'm trying to explain to the ref, I thought that was the body, ref. I didn't want to say, I thought that was the body. I just said body because I was trying to conserve me air and me energy. And all the while Floyd's making his way over behind the referee's back. And that's when I threw that little sly smack, saying, as if to say, you know what I mean? He's trying to come behind you to hit me. I'm at the hitting him first. All these things start playing in my mind. Then I start watching it back under a different lens and start thinking, I got the hard end of the stick there. I mean, I deserved a bit more.
And when you went in and you had your game plan and your strategy, that must have been sucking a lot of energy out of you mentally. Were you having to sort of check yourself and think, am I doing something wrong? Or, what's going on here? Or did you just continue with your game plan?
To go back to the corner of the early rounds, I go back to the corner and saying, he is fucking dirt. Yeah. He's not powerful. He's not fast. Where's the speed? Where's the speed I heard about? I thought he was supposed to have the speed advantage. He came in and had to fight ugly. He put his hands up, dipped his head down low, and just kept falling forward. And then if I tie him up and scoot to the back, every time he dropped down, I'd dip past his lead shoulder, reach back to the far hip, and when I reached back to the far hip, I'd end up at his back. And then the referee straight away within a second step resetting us. It's just a mad game. And that's what, like, did you see that picture I put up? I said, boxing is a mad game. He's bent over like that, and I'm like that. Yeah. He's actually bent over in front of me, Caroline. Yeah. So I'm like, and it's just a mad old game. I'd like them to come over on air side and have a knock.
I think we'd like to see that as well.
I feel I earned their respect. Yeah. And put myself out there. I mean, stall over to my side and let's have a knock and earn our respect now.
How many times have you watched back the fight?
A lot of times. I study the whole thing. I study it very, very, very intensely. So, a lot.
Has there been a moment since the fight where you've switched off your brain, not thought about fighting, just relaxed and sort of silenced all those questions and frustrations?
Well, that was what Ibiza was. I was chilling in Ibiza, had a big villa, and I was on a cliff. And it's one of the only places you can park a yacht right in at your back garden. So the back garden was just full of yachts. But like they weren't like tied into a harbour. They were just left floating. So we could walk out and walk down these little mountain steps and bounce onto a yacht and just flake out. And then that big U-jump pulled up. Yeah. So that was me floating off, and that was where I was.
And this almost 400 million Russian billionaire yacht pulls up.
$450 million yacht. It was the maddest. I saw it because we were supposed to fly back there, and I looked out and I was like, what the fuck? Look at the bleeding size of that thing. And then we went over to it. And they were mad cage, you know, they were all Russians, because the man's worth 13.2 billion.
You went on it? Oh, you went over to it?
I went over to it. Right. And I was like, hey, what's up? I'm the fire, you know me? Give us a tour. But they didn't give a fuck. Did they know you? No, the staff knew. The staff knew me. But they didn't give a fuck. I was like, who owns the boat? I goes, who owns the boat? And they were real mad cagey. It was like a bleeding something out of a Bond film or something. It was a mad fucking, you know. It was a bit of fun. You don't see a boat like that ever in your life. So it was a nice little look, because I'm in a great position in life, but then that's another 50 levels up.
Do you look at that?
So I feel like I'm on the top, and then if you feel like you're on the top, if you have that mindset that you're on the top and you're set and you're finished, sooner or later you're going to be finished down the bottom. So it was nice to kind of see another little level, and I was like, Jesus, look at that fucking thing. I'd like to start climbing up maybe and get that. And that was kind of a moment of where I went from, a moment in my mind I went from thinking, I'm done, fuck this now, I'm sorted, I have so many avenues I can just chill, to thinking, no, I'm far from done yet, I must stay switched on. And that's, so it helped me, and that's where we are now.
Do you have a goal in mind, whether it's to have a yacht that's the most expensive yacht in the world, or have you started thinking, what's the end game?
I love Flash, but I'm not stupid with it. I'm not stupid. What the fuck would I be buying a $450 million yacht for?
Because you can.
Yeah, well, there you go. But yeah, then you have to deal with it. Let's say that the engine starts going on it. The yoke needs a bit of tax. The yoke starts breaking down, and then you're stressed out with your box over the thing. I used to have a car years ago. It was my first car. It was an Opel Astra, or Volkswagen Astra, they probably over here. And the thing, it was my pride and joy. It was my pride and joy. And then when I started getting a little older, and I started conking out, and it needed to be put through the test, and I was like, I was in a relationship with a machine. And we're not supposed to be in a relationship with a machine. We're supposed to use a machine and then get the fuck out of there. So ever since that kind of buzz with that, what's the thing? If it flies, floats, drives, and...
It costs you money.
Yeah. No, if it drives, floats, flies, or fucks, rent it, or something like that. So that's where I'm at right now.
So you rented your yacht.
I'll roll in, that's what I'm saying. I'll roll in, have a little buzz, take a few pictures, get a couple of million likes, and then get the fuck out of there. No relationship, no strings attached with the damn machine.
But what the money has enabled you to do is so much in terms of supporting your family, creating this life for your child. So you joke about the money, but it's an important part of why you fight, right?
Of course, to be able to support my family and my mother and father and my sisters, and just bring everyone along with me, and that's what it's all about. That's what I used to visualize. I used to visualize all the time, because in my home growing up, fights would always happen. It would always be over money. So our stresses would always be over money, bills or fines or whatever the fuck would be coming through the door. And then there'd be murder in the gaff over it. So always on the come up, I always used to visualize that one day I can roll in and say, right, to my mother and my father, you don't have to work no more. This is for you, and everything's sorted, and that's where we're at right now. So we're in a nice place, and that's it. And we're still figuring out how we do it and how to go about it, but it's a beautiful time. It's a beautiful position to be in. It's a position that I've worked so hard to get to, and I'm proud of it.
Yeah, and you should be. And we're coming to an end now, and the last thing I want to ask you really is, do you think about the legacy that you want to leave? I mean, you're clearly a role model for so many people. You've contributed so much to this sport and beyond already. But if you were to be remembered at the end of your career, what do you want that legacy to look like?
You know,
for saying that, maybe keep coming back.
Just as a motherfucker that showed up. If he said he was going to show up and fight and do something, he showed up and gave it everything he had to go and do that. That's really it. And then, as far as my legacy, we have Conor Jr. coming up. My legacy carries on. So I'm very proud. I'm very happy that was a son. Yeah. I got to have a son, and he carries my name, Conor McGregor Jr. And I'm looking forward to helping him continue to build our legacy, the McGregor name. Like I said, it is littered through Scottish history, the McGregor name. The McGregors were feared. We were leaders. We fought for this country. You know, it's something we've been doing our entire existence. So I'm looking forward to seeing where my son takes it, because he is next in line for the throne. And I'm very happy with that.
Well, Conor, you've certainly showed up so many times in your career. You've showed up tonight. It's an absolute pleasure to talk to you. Thank you. And a big thank you to everybody that's turned up.
Thank you so much, everyone. I swear to God, thank you all. Thank you all. Wow, fucking hell. Thank you so much. Truly honored. Truly honored. We'll have fun tonight. Up the Scots! Up Celtic!